Assalamu alaikum all my students. I hope all are fine. Well, if the answer is yes, that's pretty fine and I'm happy. Well, I expect that all of you must have tried to understand what we discussed in session number 33. Yes, can you recall? Yes, absolutely right. Absolutely right that we started talking about phones and phonemes, and we tried to establish the difference between phones and phonemes. And here in that we also talked about phonetics and phonology. Yes, of course, when we talk about phones, that means we are referring to phonetics. And when we talk about phonemes, we are referring to, in fact, phonology. So this is what you understand. At the same time, I would like to tell you that precisely speaking, when I say phones and phonemes, that means I'm talking about the segments or segmental phonology, or may I say only segments. So we try to understand the segments, of course, phones and phonemes. But after that, I still remember that we discussed about suprasegmentals. Do you remember? Yes, absolutely right, that we talked about suprasegmentals. When we talk about suprasegmental phonology, we talk about stress, rhythm, intonation, all these things like that. And we talked about stress. What is stress? What's rhythm? And what is intonation? At the same time, the most important thing that I touched only, but I did not discuss in detail, the connected features. The connected features, did you remember? The connected features. Yes, absolutely right. Some of the features of connected speech we also talked about. But I just gave a passing reference, rather, a couple of slides were there in session number 33 when I had a talk on the features of connected speech. Today we have to understand something more about them. So today is our session number 34 because we have covered so far session 33. That means that from session number 1 to session number 3 we have completed almost 60% of the course, or plus 60% of the course, right? Or rather 70% of the course we have covered. But at the same time, one thing which I always remind you at the start of the session is that you have to generate a folder. Sometimes there are questions from the students. They send me the questions through WhatsApp. That do we have to prepare this folder so that we may be assessed, or it is with reference to some sort of marks? Remember, there are things which are very much crystal clear so far as the university policy is concerned. This is what for you people to prepare this course. Definitely when you start writing something, at the same time what happens that you can generate your own MCQs, write multiple questions. That's very important, right? So you can generate your own questionnaire and you can answer. And you can share with your friends online, all right, this is what I have prepared and what are your answers. And it can be reciprocated. It's very important. But it is, it must, I want you to remember always that everything when you just do, some sort of assignment or some sort of task, precisely speaking, that doesn't mean that I'm going to assess you so far as the marks are concerned. Not at all. But always remember that self-assessment is very important in the sense so that you may be able to assess yourself. Where do I stand? What kind of understanding I have developed so far this course is concerned. So please, you don't have to store this kind of concepts in your mind that I'm going to be assessed so far as the marks are concerned, I shall be awarded some sort of grade. No, you've got a separate continuous assessment system, right? And we have to follow that. It is for your preparation. It is for your understanding. You must have conceptual understanding of this course and of all the courses you are studying. Is it clear? That's very good. So welcome to session number 34, my dear students. We have covered 33 sessions and we talked about phonetics and phonology. We tried to understand the concepts. We tried to understand the phonetics and phonology, yes, through narration, through diagram, through certain photos, and many things like that. and at the same time we try to understand phonetics and phonology through certain tables. So let's see what we are going to discuss today in session number 34. Well, as I had a talk in the beginning, I said that during session number 33 I had a talk with you people on the common features of connected speech, right? The features of connected speech. But we are concerned with the common features of connected speech. Of course, I mentioned some of the common features of connected speech, but I did not analyze in detail because I had to take it up separately, and this time I'm taking it up separately. So our today's topic is to understand and analyze, of course, the common features of connected speech. Is it okay? My dear honorable students, on the top you can see two different terms, but they are one in fact. They are one at the same time, and we talked about these two terms in the preceding sessions. You call it suprasegmental or prosodic. That makes no difference at all, and I told you why. But what are the suprasegmental features? That's very important to understand. The first thing we have to talk about in this session is stress or loudness. You can call it stress, but in the simple words you can also call it loudness. Loudness. It is stress or it is loudness. Both are the same things, right? Now I would like to read the line of the statement first of all for you people, and then we shall try to understand what in fact is in these statements. It says, increasing volume is a simple way of giving emphasis, and this is a crude measure of stress. Now that's very important to understand. Increasing volume. Volume of what? Okay, this time you're listening to me, but I am not giving volume or increasing volume to each and every word. For this time, for example, when I said each and every word, I said each and every word. The conjunction and, it has not been stressed. Have you noticed it? So there is no increasing volume when I'm saying, for example, each and every word. You can see there is increasing volume so far as the word each and word are concerned. Are you getting my point? So it is increasing volume. It's a simple way of giving emphasis. You have to emphasize. You have to emphasize. It is possible the word has got only one syllable, but it is again possible you have got 2 syllables, 3 syllables, or plus 3 syllables. As I told you, most of the time there is only one syllable if there is a word which is more than one syllable. In polysyllabic words, always remember, there is only one place, there is only one syllable where we have to stress, where you can feel, you can sense there is increasing volume. All right? Or there is emphasis. That's very important to understand, right? So that is the only measure of stress. What? Increasing volume. That means if I'm saying, for example, this time the word suprasegmental. Suprasegmental. I'm not saying suprasegmental. I'm not saying. I cannot stress all the syllables equally, because it's not the way in English language to stress the words. I hope you remember that's a time stressed language. We have to. Now, what happens, we had a talk, a rather detailed talk on this, that for example, if the word is a noun, okay, so what is the syllable we have to stress? Can you tell me? Of course, that's the first syllable. But if the word is a verb, so what is the syllable we have to stress? Absolutely right. That is the second syllable. Now you can understand we cannot stress all the syllables equally in an English language. So what this statement says, that stress and loudness, that means Increasing volume is a simple way of giving emphasis, and this is a crude measure of stress. Increasing volume, measure of stress. So we can say increasing volume is a crude measure of stress. Is it clear? But it is usually combined with other things like changes in tone and tempo. It is very important. What is the tone you are adopting? We had a discussion on this. What is the tone you are adopting? Do you remember the sentence which I provided you with? She is a good lawyer. All right? And I still remember I told you that we in fact try to understand what are the emotions of the person who is speaking. The emotion, the attitude, the approach, certain other things of the speaker. The way one stresses the words. Is it clear? Maybe someone is taunting. How do we get to know? I mean, it is very easy that we, first we have to understand that what is stress. Once we understand what is stress, then we are in the position to understand what the speaker wants to communicate primarily. And then the communication skills, always remember, when the speaker is speaking, he or she is speaking. Verbal communication is there, non-verbal is there. Both communications are with us. But the way one speaks, I'm talking about English language, all right? The way one speaks, it depends upon the stress system. All right? What's the stress system he or she is adopting? What are the words he or she is stressing? Because each and every word, when stressed, all right, that conveys a different meaning. At the same time, the tone is very important. Is it clear? And then we use stress to convey some kinds of meaning. This is what I told you. Semantic and pragmatic. Semantic and pragmatic. What is the actual meaning in fact? And what are the practical meanings? That's very important to understand. Such as urgency or anger or for such things as imperatives. Right? If I say, do it, I am asking you that you have to do it at any cost. Do it. And if I say, don't, so I am stressing do not, like this. Don't. That means there is imperative mood. So there are certain tones which are conveyed. Always remember, so stress system is very important in English language, my dear students. So you must learn how to stress the words properly and what is the syllable I have to stress. All right? And then what meanings in fact I want to convey to the people. That's very important business. Is it clear? Now let's talk about intonation. Intonation. Rise and fall. There are certain tones, rising tone or the falling tone. So you may be familiar in a loose sense with the notion of tone of voice. This is what I have been talking about for the last round about 5 to 6 or 7 sessions. Tone of voice. Now remember, we use varying levels of pitch and sequences. We call it contours or tunes. Contours or tunes. But to do what? To convey particular meanings. This is what I have been talking about. Okay? We use varying levels of pitch and sequences to convey particular meanings. Remember, particular meanings, in fact, that is the target of the speaker. What the speaker wants to convey to the audience. At this time, for example, I'm talking to you and I'm trying to stress the words the way words are to be stressed. I cannot stress each and every word because English language stress system does not allow me. Why? This time I'm emphasizing some words. I'm not emphasizing all the words. That's very important. Sometimes, for example, we are not supposed to be stressing the structure words. I hope you understand what are the structure words. There are 2 types of words in English. One are the content words, the other are the structure words. Always remember, this is the content words which are stressed mostly. Sometimes the structure words are also stressed. Now, what are content words? That's very important to understand. The words which carry maximum meaning are called content words. The words which carry maximum meaning are called content words, and the structure words are primarily the helpers to the content words, such as is, am, are, to, the, and, so far, as well as something like that. In, on, at, all these are structure words. In fact, on their own they don't have any business to do, but remember, when they are added to some content words, they generate the meanings. That's very important to understand. Is it clear? And then, falling and rising intonation in English may signal a difference between statement and question. This is what I told you already. Then in English language, for example, if there is a falling tone, that means there is no question required. But it is possible when there is a rising intonation or rising tone, the question is there. So that's why the statement says that falling and rising intonation in English may signal a difference between statement and question. Maybe a falling tone is a simple statement. But remember, when there is a rising tone, what happens? That means there is a question. She is a good lawyer. And if I say, she is a good lawyer, just imagine, when you are writing this sentence, there is no question mark at the end. When you are writing this sentence, my dear students, she is a good lawyer, there is no question mark. That is a declarative statement, a simple statement. But when you say, she is a good lawyer, that means you are suspecting whether she is a lawyer or not. Is it clear? Now, let's give some time to tempo. What is tempo? My dear students, remember, we speak more or less quickly for many different reasons and purposes. What I'm saying we speak more or less quickly for many different reasons and purposes. For example, now occasionally it may be that we are adapting our speech to the time we have in which to utter it. Now, I want to give you the example of cricket commentary. If you're a cricket lover, for example, or if you're a football lover, or maybe there is a horse riding race, so you are a lover. I hope that if you're watching TV and there is a match in between Brazil and Argentina, I'm sure you must have listened and heard the commentators. They are just changing their tempo. Sometimes they are speaking very quickly, in accordance with the requirement of the game is on. The game is in the ground. The way, the players react to the football, the commentators in fact change their tempo. Same is the case with cricket commentary, for example. You might have seen some speakers, they are emotionally charged when they are talking about some sort of a very good spell of a fast bowler, or maybe some spinners, right? Or someone is hitting sixes and fours. What happens? The commentators are primarily, they are changing their tempo. Sometimes they are speaking very quickly, right, in accordance with the requirement of the game. So that's very important, what tempo we are in fact in, where we have to utter the statement, when we have to speak. Sometimes you might have seen when you're talking to your friends, right, if you have got old buddies with you, old friends with you, you can see the change of the tempo. But when you are talking to the strangers, it is possible that your tempo is different. So it depends upon that in which circumstances or in which environment, or which is the ambience in which you are just talking or you are speaking. Is it clear? Now let's understand rhythm. What is rhythm? Please do not pronounce this word as rhythm, as I told you many a time. Please pronounce this word as rhythm. 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 Patterns of stress, tempo and pitch together create a rhythm. Now what is the outcome of stress, tempo and pitch. The outcome is rhythm, in fact, the rhythm of the language. That's very important to understand. What I'm saying is the patterns of stress, tempo and pitch together create rhythm. Some kinds of formal and repetitive rhythm are familiar from music, rap, poetry and even chants of soccer fans. Isn't it? If you have seen football match, you can see the rhythm over there. They are speaking. They are moving their bodies here and there. The chants are there. Poetry, for example. Isn't it? There is rhythm. For example, free verse. Even there is rhythm in the free verse. For example, blank verse. There is rhythm in it. For example, heroic couplet. Rhythm in it. What about Shakespearean language? That is sort of poetic language. Of course, that is used in drama, but that's poetic touch. Rhythm is there. It's very important to understand the music of the language is called rhythm. All of these things, whether stress, tempo or pitch, whatever these are, I mean the combination of all these, that it creates rhythm. Is it clear? But all speech has rhythm. All speech has rhythm. It is just that in spontaneous utterances we are less likely to hear regular or repeating patterns. But remember, all speech has rhythm. Spontaneously when we are speaking, it is possible. It is very much possible because of the context. I hope you remember I told you that you must try to understand context. There are certain things which I understand as a student of English language. If there are certain misunderstandings in between or among the people, it is because that we try to understand the statement of someone out of the context. When we read the things out of the context, when we try to interpret the things out of the context, there is a problem. All speech has rhythm. You must remember that all speech has rhythm. But sometimes what happens is spontaneously when we are making some sort of utterances, we forget the rhythm. It's very important. What about the people when they are angry? What happens to them? Do you think they create rhythm? No, they shout. And when they are shouting, do you think that they are careful about rhythm of the language? No, not at all. So it depends upon what context, what environment one is in. So that's very important to understand. Is it clear? Okay. Well, our next common feature of connected speech is accent. I tried to tell you in the preceding sessions what is accent. Before I read the statement, my dear students, it's very important to understand that each one of us has got a typical style of speaking. Whatever the language we speak, it is possible you're a speaker of Urdu, you're a speaker of Punjabi, or you're a speaker of English. But I think, I'm not talking about when you are speaking a foreign language that is the interference of your mother tongue. Say, for example, you are a native speaker of English, but remember, all native speakers of English do not speak the same language. If you go to England, for example, and you're not traveling throughout England, but you are stationed in London only, I'm sure that you'll come to know that there are certain variations so far as the individuality is concerned. So the statement itself tells us about this, what I am telling you now, that everyone's use of the sound system is unique and personal. Everyone's use of the sound system is unique and personal. The way I am, for example, using this sound system could be different from the teachers you have in this semester. And the way they use the sound system, it is possible I am not using that sound system, because the use is the personal way. Personal use, right? It is possible the sound ah, as in discuss, 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 discuss. But it is possible somebody said discuss. Now that means that everyone's use of the sound system is unique and personal. And few of us use sounds consistently in all contexts. We adapt to different situations. So, situation is very important. First of all, we must try to learn and understand that accent is very much personal. It is very much personal. You may have your own accent of English. I may have my own accent of English. If we both are native speakers of English. Same is the case with Urdu. If we are native speakers of Urdu and we understand the sound system of Urdu, it is possible that you use that system the way you want and I use that system the way I want. But remember, my way of or my usage or your usage, that doesn't mean that we must have the same thing in the dictionary or in the books, not necessarily. So that's why I'm saying that accent is primarily concerned with your personality, the personal usage. And then we rarely adapt our sounds alone. More likely we mind our language in the popular sense by attending to our lexical choices, grammar and phonology. So we have got lexical choices. You've got your own lexical choice. You've got certain words with you. It is possible there are certain synonyms. I am using one word with one synonym, whatever it is, and you are using the other one. For example, I say good, oh, he's quite good. And you say, oh, he's quite nice. It is possible. So you have got your own accent. But remember, this is the personal sound system. I mean, the usage is concerned, so far as the usage is concerned. Is it clear? So always remember, there are choices, personal choices. Is it clear? So you understand phonology, but not necessarily the way you, for example, one person, that may be roll number 1. He or she has got his own or her own way to use that sound system, and it is possible roll number 15 has got some other ways. Alright? So that's why I'm saying that accent is the personal choice. That's very important, okay? You might have heard this statement sometime, oh, his or her accent is very good. Your accent is very strange, very different, right? For example, you are at the university or your college, at your college, wherever you are studying. It is possible that one is speaking the way he or she likes, the way he or she likes to use that sound system, and you say, all right, his accent is different. So that is very important. Is it clear? Well, one term I have been using this, and this is received pronunciation, or simply saying RP. What is received pronunciation? That's very important to understand for the students of English language and linguistics, especially those who are studying phonetics and phonology. Remember, received pronunciation is a special accent, originally neutral accent that is used as a standard for broadcasting and some other kinds of public speaking. It's a standard for broadcasting and some other kinds of public speaking. My dear students, it is very refined pronunciation, refined accent. Received pronunciation, sometimes it is also known as Queen's English. Sometimes it is also known as Queen's English or King's English. Nowadays it should be called Queen's English. But RP, what is this? It's a special accent. Everyone does not speak this. Everyone does not have the understanding of this particular accent. Even in England, for example, you can't see everyone is speaking RP. No. And how is it possible that in Pakistan we can speak with RP? We can understand RP, we can try to learn about RP, we can try to learn RP, but that doesn't mean that we can master RP. Right? Some people say 3 to 5% of English people, they speak RP. right? Maybe it makes maximum 5% or maybe more than 5%, but not everyone. Received pronunciation. I repeat, received pronunciation is a special accent. RP is the abbreviation, and a regionally neutral accent that is used as a standard for broadcasting and some other kinds of public speaking. Broadcasting and public speaking. That means when we are just watching TV, BBC, so we are just coming across a sort of RP accent. I'm not saying whether all the newscasters, they have done some sort of courses in mastering RP or not, but at least there's a fairly refined English they speak. Refined in the sense that close to RP or RP. So broadcasting people, definitely BBC, and of course some of the people who in fact go to Cambridge University or Oxford University, they generate this kind of accent. It's quite difficult. I know that those who just go there and do their some sort of degree, maybe MPhil or maybe PhD. I have not seen so far, but there are many who speak RP. But it is natural. In fact, what happens that if you want to learn exact RP, I think you must be first of all a native speaker of English. That's very important. And then, of course, when you go to public schools, elite schools, what we call in English term, and of course the universities like Cambridge and Oxford, definitely you can learn RP, that is received pronunciation. But remember, it is not fixed. You can hear earlier forms of RP in historical broadcasts, such as newsreel films from the Second World War. If you really want to learn about received pronunciation, you have to have some sort of taste for some sort of movies or movies based on World War II, and you can see, all right, the people who are speaking about Second World War movies, and of course through on the broadcast, they are just speaking in received pronunciation. But remember, this is wonderful. I have heard many people, and I know some of the people who are close to received pronunciation. And remember, that is sometimes it is also known as the posh English. It is also known as posh English. Of course, we'll be talking about this posh English. What is posh English? And if you want to understand more about posh English, you can just see many short movies, short films, short clips are available on YouTube. You can just access posh. What is posh English? You can have, and you can have the answer. All right. Now it's very important to understand that what does RP do. That's very important. Received pronunciation. Whenever I say RP, that means I'm saying received pronunciation. My dear students, remember, RP excites powerful feelings of admiration and repulsion sometimes. Sometimes you are admiring the person who's speaking in RP. Sometimes there is a repulsive sort of feelings. It depends. It depends. Some see it as a standard or the correct form of spoken English, while others see its use in broadcasting, say, as an affront to the dignity of their own region. That means that some people don't like RP. They say, all right, they get offended if someone says that why you are not RP speakers, so they don't like it, because in England, for example, each region, as I told you, there is a book, of course, that was written by, I referred this book to you people in the preceding session, English Accents and Dialects, that was probably written in 90s, early 90s probably, if I'm not mistaken, by Professor Peter Treadgill and Arthur Hughes. English Accents and Dialects, and you can see that is available online. If not online, you can purchase, but I think that is very much available. So you can see that they have divided England in different areas, I think plus 10 areas or plus 10 regions, right? It is possible the English which is spoken in Liverpool, that is not spoken in London, and maybe that is the English which is spoken in London, that is not spoken in Pontypridd. It is very much possible, right? So that's why the statement says that RP excites powerful feelings of admiration and repulsion depending upon the people. what kind of region they belong to and what kind of English they themselves speak. But this is my humble feeling that, all right, this is wonderful accent, and I personally like this accent, but it is unfortunate that we cannot speak that one, because we try hard, but as I told you, that's quite difficult for the speakers of other languages, or the speakers of foreign languages to learn RP. Yes, exactly. One day when you visit London and you stay there to earn your further degree, it is very much possible that you learn received pronunciation, or you're living with some people who speak RP. It is possible that you learn quickly. But remember, that is, to me, it is, I think, very, it's a wonderful accent. Really, and of course, naturally, it can excite powerful feelings of admiration, and repulsion. Quite naturally, some people like it, some people don't like it. It is possible that when you come across a native speaker of English who is speaking RP, it is possible you are full of admiration, but it is possible that you become repulsive. You don't like this accent. It's quite natural. So my suggestion to you people is not to learn RP, but you have to try to learn what is it, what kind of accent this is. This is what my humble suggestion is, and I'm sure that you will learn many good things when you come across certain technicalities of this accent. Okay? Now I want to tell you that why this is full of admiration. Some people admire it. It's very important to understand as a student of English language and linguistics. Remember, its merit lies in its being more widely understood by national and international audience than any regional accent. The international, of course, I'm not talking about national this time. Internationally, in fact, we have got international audience, because when you come across any accent, if you are just listening any person who's speaking RP, I'm sure that you will learn and you will understand English more easily than the person who's speaking regional English. This is one of the reasons. That's why international audience, in fact, is rather bigger, and it's got, I think, I want to say that the maximum number is of the audience is primarily international audience. I'm referring to is about received pronunciation, because the regional English language accents are hardly listened and understood sometimes understood. Hardly understood by the foreign language learners. Nationally over there in England, for example, RP speakers are acknowledged, they are admired. This is what I have seen, so far as my personal experience is concerned, because it is understood. Always remember, this is what I have seen in posh English. If I say this is posh English, they speak very smoothly. Received pronunciation, speakers speak very smoothly. They're not fast, they're not quick, right? And they're very courteous when they are speaking. There are certain qualities they have, right? For example, I know some of the people, when I talk to them, most of the time when they listen, they approve your statement, and they encourage you. All the time they are saying, of course, yes, definitely, absolutely, yes, right? So they are very humble and courteous. At the same time, they are not very quick, right? And they hardly use such words which are not understandable. This is what I am telling you, that widely understood. This accent is primarily widely understood, of course, both nationally in England and internationally. And then one more thing which I would like to tell you is that non-native speakers often want to learn RP. As I told you, for example, if you go to England to earn your further degree, I'm sure that you will love to learn received pronunciation rather than a regional accent of English. That's very difficult, because when you come back to your own country, not only you, maybe anyone, for example, coming from Argentina, or maybe Spain, maybe Italy, maybe France, maybe some parts of Central Asia, from the Middle East, for example. So the first intention is to learn about received pronunciation, and if possible, one loves to learn received pronunciation. Why? Because regional accent of English, that doesn't support them. So RP exists, but no one is compelled to use it. Now that is the statement you must remember. RP is there, received pronunciation is there, and I'm saying that, I mean, some people speak this particular accent with this particular accent, but remember, no one is compelled to use it. If you know what is received pronunciation and you can speak, that's wonderful. But we cannot ask anyone, you must speak RP, you must learn RP. So it is very difficult task, what I understand. I may be wrong, but this is what my feelings are. Okay. Now, what's the point to remember here? That's very important. When we talk about accent and social class, it's very important to understand over here. Remember, my dear students, accent is certainly related to social class. Always remember. This is a truism, because accent is one of the things that we use as an indicator of social class. It is always considered as one of the indicators of social class. I can give you example of Urdu language, for example, the way Urdu is spoken in your area, what kind of Urdu that is spoken over there. Urdu is spoken in, for example, north of Punjab, in interior Sindh, in Balochistan, in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, in Gilgit-Baltistan, in Azad Kashmir. But the Urdu that is spoken in Karachi, I'm sure that you can make a distinction in between the Urdu spoken in Karachi and the rest of the country. So, same is the case with English. Remember, if you, for example, go to England, and you come across a person who, in fact, graduated from Cambridge University, right? His or her English will be different from one graduate who studied maybe in Scotland, and he definitely, or she was taught English language. The medium was English over there, but you can feel and you can find a distinction between the accent of the person who went to Cambridge University or Oxford University and the person I'm talking about, right? So it is primarily very much close to social class. And remember, for a given class, we can express this positively or negatively, depending upon you want to say something about positive or something negative. It depends upon you that we can express sometimes positivity and negativity, depending upon this. This is what I told you. The context is very important everywhere. Everywhere. Right? You might have seen that some people who naturally speak some of the words of English, maybe in your class, one who went to private sector school and then he or she went to private sector college, or maybe he or she has got some, he or she lives in a posh area, right? It's quite natural to him or her that he brings some sort of English words frequently. It is very much possible when you are speaking and you say, all right, look at this person that he or she is trying to impress us. But it's not the case, in fact. That's the social class one belongs to. So either we can take it positively or we can take it negatively. It depends upon us. But always remember, accent is very much associated and related to social class. Is it clear? Well, I want to give you some examples from the world of positively and negatively. Positivity and negativity, right? And picking up examples from English society as regard the highest social class. Remember, positively we can identify features of articulation for certain sounds. Now remember, upper class speakers do not open or move the lips as much as other speakers of English. So that means they do not open their mouth wide, and they don't move the lips as much as other speakers of English. Comparatively, positively speaking, when you go to a highest class, highest social class in England, you can come across, you can judge the person. If the speaker is having this kind of tendency, you can understand, all right, he or she belongs to highest class. But it is very much possible that one learns wonderful accent. I would like to refer to one of your dramas written by George Bernard Shaw, that is Pygmalion. What happens over there? A professor of English, in fact, who's a phonetician, in fact, he challenges his friend that I can convert a flower girl into a duchess through English pronunciation, and this is what he does in that particular play. Nobody is ready when she is exposed to some sort of ball, some sort of function. Nobody is believing. Everyone is saying and asking her that you are the Duchess. You are the Duchess of what area? Tell us. Because the way she speaks, it is possible there are certain people who have got wonderful accent. But over here, point to remember is that the highest social class people, they do not open or move the lips as much as other speakers of English. But negatively speaking, we can identify such sound as the glottal stop as rare among and untypical of speakers from this social class, right? So that's very important. You cannot have this kind of tendency so far as the highest class people are concerned. So same is the case with Urdu language or some other languages of the world, but particularly since we are having our national language Urdu, you can see that the way, I mean, for example, the people who are living in central Punjab, I mean south of Punjab or north of Punjab, how do they speak Urdu? And right? And within those areas, for example, let's talk about the capital city of this province, that is Punjab, Lahore. I mean, in Lahore, you've got variety of English, Urdu language, and those who are living in the posh areas, you can see the difference between the way they speak Urdu and the people who are not living these privileged areas. So there is a yawning gap in between the two types, the two accents. Is it clear? So that's why I'm saying that accent is very much related to the social class. Now let's try to understand assimilation. Remember, assimilation occurs when a phoneme in one word causes a change in a sound in a neighboring word. For example, try saying the following pairs of words. If you want to understand assimilation, try to speak these words, these pair of words. Now say first of all the first pair of words, now the second, and now the third. Now listen to me. In Bath, last year, Hyde Park. Now, you will notice that the last sound of the first word changes in each case. What you will notice? That the last sound of the first word changes in each case. The n sound becomes m, in Bath. The n sound becomes m, in Bath. So assimilation. N is into m, in Bath. Last year, the first word last sound is t, but it is converted into ch. Last year, last year, last year, last year. And then Hyde Park, the last d is converted into b. Hyde Park, Hyde Park, Hyde Park. Is it clear? So this is what we call assimilation. That when a phoneme or a sound in one word causes a change in a sound in a neighboring word. So n of in is causing change in the neighboring sound, that is b. So it becomes imbath. Last year, last year. Hyde Park, Hyde Park, Hyde Park. Is it clear? What is elision? Remember, elision is the loss of a phoneme, most commonly the last phoneme of a word, and most commonly the t and d sounds. Have a look at these examples. What I'm saying, elision is the loss of a phoneme, most commonly the last phoneme of a word, and most commonly the t and d sounds. So have a look at these examples. Left back. I'm not saying left back. Elision, the loss of t sound. The next one is stand by. I'm not saying stand by. Stand by. The third. Look back. I'm not saying looked back. I'm saying look back. And then the final one is I must go. I'm not saying I must go. I'm saying I must go. Listen again. Left back. Stand by. Look back. I must go. So elision is the loss of a phoneme, most commonly the last phoneme of a word, and most commonly the t and d sound. That's very important to understand, okay? Well, last but not the least, my dear students, the most important part of our each and every session, and that is the self-assessment component. Today we try to understand what are the common features of connected speech. During session number 33, we just try to understand some of the names, but this time we try to understand through examples what are the common features of connected speech. When you are engaged in speaking English language, always remember these common features matter a lot, especially when you're trying to follow some sort of English spoken model, and for instance I told you about received pronunciation. Remember, these are the things you shall come across when the native speaker is using. Remember, there are certain things which are naturally learnt by the native speaker of English, but so far as received pronunciation is concerned, I told you it is also quite natural that if someone is born in a family that belongs to highest class of the society, and he or she goes to the public schools and the universities like Oxford and Cambridge, of course, they learn received pronunciation. It is very much possible some of the people or foreign language learners who visit England and stay there for their degree programs or certain degree programs now, they tend to learn received pronunciation. So I'm not saying that it's only naturally that comes to you. I'm saying that if you want to live in England and you want to stay there, it is possible that you come across certain received pronunciation speakers and you try to learn and you learn. So we talked about certain common features of English language which are very important, because whether it's stress, it's rhythm, it's pitch, it's tone, it's tempo, it's simulation, it's elision, all these things matter a lot, right? And after having discussed each and everything, I want you to write a note on the common features of connected speech which we have discussed today. I hope in the coming days you shall try to get yourself engaged in spoken English, because I want you to record your voice again and again. And I told you one recipe, and that is pick up some book that is a recommended book or any book, right, maybe novel or some other books, short stories. Start recording your own voice and try to listen to yourself by applying all the concepts which you have understood during these 34 sessions. That's very important, okay? So from my side, goodbye and good luck. Stay blessed.